It's 6 o'clock on Tuesday, April 19th, 2022, and I hereby call this regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council to order. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you please bow your heads for the invocation? Heavenly Father, we ask for your wisdom, your blessings, and your guidance. Please help us that are here sitting before you and the city staff do what is right for all residents of Diamondhead, to look out for every residents of Diamondhead, and to have their best interest at heart in every decision that we make. Please bless the residents of Diamondhead and all the residents of Hancock County, and please bestow upon us your grace and blessings for the upcoming week. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
City Clerk? Here.
Councilmember Finley?
Here.
Councilmember Clark?
Here.
Councilmember Moore?
Here.
I am going to move to adjust the agenda, adding on the consent agenda items 15A and 15B. 15A is a motion to support the Coast Electric Power Association subsidiary company Coast Connect for the funding opportunity available through Broadband Equity Access and Development, BEAD. And also add 15B under the consent agenda, motion to approve letter of support for the Hancock County Port and Harbor Commission for federal funding of a multi-user aereo strip. And also to delete item D under the presentation agenda and add under B, presentation by Senator Moran. Could I get a second on the motion as moved?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor? Aye. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council will be held on May 3rd, 2022 in the City Council chambers at City Hall. The city's 10th anniversary celebration will be held at 5:30 p.m. on April 26th at City Hall. This is going to be next Tuesday night out here on the town green, a big celebration of the past 10 years and also the prelude of the city of Diamondhead. It's going to be very very informational. We hope that all the residents come out and celebrate the accomplishments over the past 10 years and celebrate our beautiful city. Next, we have Senator Moran here. Senator Moran, giving us a legislative update.
It's on. Good. Good evening, everyone. As you all know, about 2 weeks ago, in fact, tomorrow, exactly 2 weeks ago, we were able to wrap up the 2022 session. And it was a little bit longer than normal, sometimes contentious, but a very productive session at the end. You know, it's amazing. Sometimes you get down about a week or two beforehand, you think nothing's going to happen, then all of a sudden it all comes together. And that's kind of what happened there. We were able to do a lot of good things. One is the largest tax cut in the history of the state. We cut the state income tax by $500 million. You know, that's huge because on an average year, on a $6.5 billion budget, the state income tax makes up $1.2 billion of that. So we're able to cut $500 million out of that, and then hopefully, if our funds keep coming in the way they have been the last year or so, we hope to be able to do some more cutting on it, give more money back to the taxpayers. We were able to put the largest teacher pay raise in the history of the state. July 1, every teacher in the state will get a $5,140 raise, and the assistants will get a raise as well. So, you know, that's substantial. That's never happened in the history of the state before. That was a $247 million price tag on that. So it was tough to do, but we bit the bullet and did it. This puts us ahead of the majority of the southeastern states, and so we're very proud of that. On the local level, Representative Jay Knight and myself working together for Diamondhead, we were able to get you $400,000 for your Noma Drive waterfront project, an additional $400,000. Gulf Coast Restoration, we were able to get you $900,000 on your town green. I think last year we got you $1.5 million or something like that.
I think it
Next
was.
year we hope to be able to get $1 million to put on that so that you can work that project however you see fit. On your drainage project, Go Mesa, we were able to get you almost $1.7 million. So it comes up to about almost $3 million that we're able to bring to the city this year. And you know, I know Jay's not here tonight, but he's been a tremendous help. You know, you have to have help on both ends of the building or you can never get things done. And we've been very fortunate to be able to work together. So just wanted to give you all an update on that. It'd be interesting to go back and see, since we've gotten there in 2012, how many millions we've been able to bring back to our prospective district, back to the coast. And but we're very proud of that and want to continue to work as a team to do that. On another note, I want to take you down memory alley a little bit. These two ladies here may remember this, but when you were talking about the city's 10th year anniversary coming up, when the city was formed, got with the mayor and the city council, and when they purchased this complex here, we came in and we treated it for termites, and Phillips Pest Control did, and then began a yearly termite renewal program. We also began a program of a quarterly pest control, spraying the entire complex inside. For the first 5 years we did this, you have an invoice, the end of the month or the next month, you all would pay it, good to go. When Alan was elected to the city council, we didn't want any possibility of looking like that there was any kind of conflict with that. But we didn't want to lose the account. Most people don't know this, but for the last 5 years, we've been still doing this service free. We have not charged the city a dime in the last 5 years for the termite renewal, yearly termite renewal, we spray around the building, and or the quarterly pest control. So what I'd respectfully ask, and I wrote a letter and I'll give it to you all while your budget time coming up or whenever. It asks that you consider that now that Alan's no longer on the city council and we're continuing to spray the building each month, and you ladies remember this, we've been here for a long time. But anyway, we'd like to go back and pick up that charge again if we could. I dare say there's another vendor on your list that's been doing it for free for 5 years. But anyway, I want to present this letter to the mayor and to the city council and ask your consideration on this, and we'd certainly like to continue to do the work for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Moran. And we can't thank you enough. I mean, your representation has been outstanding, and the amount of funding the city of Diamondhead has gotten has been tremendous. And this year, you know, the residents, this was the first they've heard. We haven't announced it. So they're going to be excited to know Noma Drive is going to finally get paving, you know, and all the way to our waterfront development, and multi-mobile lane added up to the circle. This has been needed tremendously. The $400,000 to put on our waterfront development added to the $800 you've already funded us puts us way over $1 million. So thank you for that as well.
Yeah, thank you. And we're going to continue that. We hope to be able to continue to bring even more money back to Diamondhead. You know, Diamondhead's very special to me. We've been working here for 39 years. So, but anyway, thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you, Senator Moran.
Yeah, thank you for everything.
So do we need to move on this, or do y'all need to look at it? Okay. All right. Okay. Next, we have Mr. John Stein with Digital Engineering, here to talk about a Bow View 2 drainage project.
Mayor, Councilman. I put a little packet for you together on the Beauview Phase 2 drainage. The reason why we're doing this project is to address the existing drainage issues on the south side of Beauview Phase 2 subdivisions at Lot 17, 18, 19, 20, and some of the adjacent property.
Excuse me, John, do you have another copy so that Sharon can have a copy? She lives right by this.
Can y'all hear okay out there?
We'll pull it.
Okay. There's you a copy, so it'll make it easy. She lives in the yard right by it. Okay,
Is that better? Or
much
okay.
better, thank you.
and then during extremely heavy rain events, there's been localized flooding. So what I put in here is I've got like what's going on, some of the existing conditions, and in Figure 1, I put some drawings in there that shows the original survey that was done when they were doing the design for the development, and it shows you how there used to be a big drainage ditch through the property, which no longer exists, or a natural drainage ditch. And then Figure 2 shows the designed drainage plans, which showed a new ditch and being conveyed through a culvert, a 24-inch culvert, and that drainage ditch was supposed to be 2.5 feet deep and with the 1-to-1 slopes, which didn't get constructed that way. And then also the drainage culverts were designed for a 25-year rain event. And at that time when it was designed, there were no subdivision regulations. And then the drainage calculations were done using MDOT curves. Now the subdivision regulations require NOAA curves because the NOAA curves adjust for the local rainfall. So they give off a little more runoff when you do the calculations. And then in Figure 4, that was our surveyor came in and did the survey, and it shows existing conditions, culverts, and all the elevations. Okay, and what we found, you can see in the pictures there that the drainage ditches weren't constructed as designed. It's pretty shallow and it's silted in. More of the subdivision drains to the south side of than was designed, and it was an increase of approximately 5 feet per second. And then I've included the grading plan that was done for the subdivision, and you can see lots 16, 15, 14, and 13, and 12 were all supposed to drain into the subdivision. Part of those lots now drain to the back of the subdivision, so it adds more flow.
What page was that?
That's figure 3.
Yeah, okay.
I skipped
So
that.
the pipe that is existing where the ditch was supposed to be, it's subsurface drainage. Was that a 24-inch that was put in?
Yeah, it was a 24-inch, and basically on figure 5, I drew in, and these are at the elevations and the lengths. What was designed, you can see, was much higher up.
Oh, yeah.
And it had a capacity of 22.73 CFS. And when the flow went to the front, they only came up with 19 CFS using the MDOT curve. So it had the capacity. I don't want to skip back, but I can just talk a little more. Well, you can see it's, the capacity, what was put in on that first segment was basically carry the capacity what it was designed for. And then the extra segments had a little more capacity, and then taper down, it had less capacity. So I have table 2, which is near the end. And you can see the difference with the different events. That pipe 4 is that segment that was in the original design. You know, right now, if you use the MDOT curves with the extra, it doesn't have the capacity. It has like 24 CFS, which is about 5. But if you use the NOAA, which is what's required now by the subdivision regulations, you have like 27 CFS. And then if you go down to a 100-year storm, where with the NOAA is 33.95, but the MDOT's only 29. But you can see if you go to the 50-year storm, the NOAA exceeds the 100-year MDOT storm, the flow. So the pipe's too small.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So pipe number 1 is the one behind the first home,
Yes,
then pipe 2 is the second, and then pipe 3 is the third.
Third,
All
right.
1, 2, and 3
Three.
are ones that were put in where we should have had a ditch.
that's correct.
Okay, and it's very clear. They're very undersized. And that's why if you do landscaping culverts, it's probably needs to be mandated that you also, especially on rear drainage ditches, you submit drainage calcs, because you can't just plop them in.
Yeah, because it shows you how it affects the slope. If someone puts
Right.
one in shallower, it has less capacity. Put it in steeper, it'll have more capacity. So in figure 6,
Figure 6.
that's this is our conceptual design right now. What we want to do is construct a 2-foot deep ditch with 3-to-1 slope, which is per the subdivision regulations. So it'll be a much larger ditch. And then we also are recommending to line the ditch with a vegetated concrete block mat to help prevent side slope erosion and then eliminate some of that unsightly riprap that's there when you make that curve.
And we're talking about putting all this on the south side of the existing landscape culverts.
Yes,
So
because
how,
we got an existing drainage easement on both sides. So all this work would be done within the existing. There's a 10-foot on each side of the property line. And then we'll construct a new drainage culvert that'll handle the 100-year storm. We're going to remove the drainage culvert that's at lot 18, that's that first house, and then leave the existing drain culvert in place just to catch some localized runoff that's coming off the lot. And then also add some drain inlets between lots 13 and 14 and 14 and 15, because all that flow is coming back towards the low spot. And then, as I said, the new ditch will be done within existing easements, but we may require to get some temporary construction easement. And then I've also put an estimate together, and right now I've estimated this at $150,000, and a lot of it's shocker because a lot of the construction prices have really surged lately. And, you know, we're finding that in a lot of our bids that that they're coming in pretty high. So once we get, finalize the design, hopefully we can get some of that cost down.
so basically, if we look at the existing drainage plan, which is figure 2, we're replacing all the way back to the existing catch basin between lots 2 and 3. So we will be adding a new 30-inch because the 24 was inadequate.
Great, right.
It was inadequate all the way down?
It was inadequate in the,
You can't upsize the 30 where you need it and dump into a 24, so you need to replace it.
yes. Where it's, where you, when you go to table 1, you'll see the pipes, where it's in yellow, that's where it's inadequate.
So we got to go all the way back to that existing catch basin. You're going to punch into it, come back, add a new, you're going to put a catch basin or a junction box?
A junction box.
A junction box, then we're going to run 30-inch all the way to where it was supposed to end before, which is just on the other side of your property. Remember where the ditch was supposed to end?
Yeah, and that's where the standing water is right now, is where the ditch used to be.
Okay, so he's gonna go back to that point with a 30-inch, then do open ditch with concrete matting, and we can show you a picture of that.
Should've done that way all along.
Thank you, Miss Sharon. So we're gonna fix it, and go that way, all the way back to the outfall. You're going all the way back out to the outfall, or are you going to the end? It looks like to the outfall.
Well,
Yeah, it
over
is.
at the culvert that comes across the street, yes.
So he's gonna mat it all the way back to the yellow house that Mr. George likes with the concrete matting. Okay.
I should have included a picture, but
No,
vegetation will grow through there. So it looks natural, but it has a lot of protection.
did you have an opportunity to get with Miss Sharon?
No.
Okay, well, you need to, so you can make sure that, because I have been in her yard and have stood in 3 feet of water, literally. I mean, it's unbelievable when the rain comes. So we need to make sure, and I know she's got a lot of, maybe after the meeting, if y'all could talk for a moment.
Okay.
This looks wonderful, though. This looks, thank you for fixing it, because this has been a horrible nightmare for the residents living up against it.
And
Thank
just so that I'm clear, everything that you're doing is going to eradicate all of these yellow
Yes.
flows below capacity.
That's
And
correct.
so we're gonna be up to a 100-year storm under the NOAA standards.
Yes.
Awesome. That's what we need, all over.
And Miss Sharon doesn't need 3 foot of water in her yard. Okay, 150 for the total cost?
Yes.
Thank you for the presentation. It was very
It's
well done.
excellent. Oh, your photo that I took's on the
Yeah, yeah.
cover. Okay,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
proves her 3 feet of water. I did take this photo, and it was not a good day out there. Okay, thank you.
If the council's good with the recommendation coming from the engineer, kind of, they've got the
Bless
work
you.
assignment in place for them to move forward with, going from conceptual to more design to bid to do the project.
Where are we with the 150,000?
What's that?
Where's the funding coming from for the 150?
I would say use the ARPA funds
Part of the ARPA fund, okay.
for drainage.
I think there's no option here. It has to be corrected. The pipes are undersized. We stand in 3 feet of water when it rains. I mean, it's unacceptable. Her yard is wet 24/7, and it's not just Miss Sharon, it's everybody that lives by there. It's a whole group of people.
I would
So-
point out also some adjustments we have made to the subdivision regulations that, again, when Bowview 2 was created, the subdivision regulations were not in place. Now they are, but even further from that, what he commented on, if you look where the house is, in the original plans, all the water was leaning to the street. In the actuality build, part of the lot is now draining to the rear. And that's complicating stuff as well compared to the original. We've kind of fixed that in the subdivision regulations through text amendments that y'all have approved so that we know finished grade and where things are supposed to be done. So trying to avoid this kind of problem. So that's something we've already addressed in our text amendments.
And I saw this coming from the beginning. I was a no vote on everything on this because I saw it coming. But we're here, we know, let's fix it and move forward.
Nancy, would it be cheaper if they put the ditch on my property?
Oh, they are, Miss Sharon. So you may want to get with John after the meeting. Part of it is on your, 10 feet goes on your property.
You guys spend all this
Okay, Miss Sharon is willing to give the city a right of easement if we need additional easement. and a right of entry. So she's willing to do whatever you need, John, to help get this. Okay, thank you.
Thank
So we're moving forward with the construction plans. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. We're going to hold off on Subbasin A and move on to the city manager's report.
Yeah, again, I'll just comment on Subbasin A. I did notify a couple of residents who inquired about that. Then software, I'm going to talk to them a little bit, but my understanding is the CAD files that they're doing, compared to what he showed me on paper a week ago, trying to do it in the presentation format, that we're getting different results, so the presentation would not have been really accurate tonight. So he's asked to delay that for 2 weeks. So we'll run through that on May 3, I think is the next date. East Aloha improvements, same thing I read kind of last week. The contractor's working hard on East Aloha improvements. That project is divided into 3 segments. They're on segment 1 still. That's in order to avoid the complete road closure, so we're only kind of closing the road in segments. Obviously, as everybody can still get to Rouse's and the other shopping centers during this construction phase. So we do ask people to drive safely, continue to drive safely while these people are in, the workers are in that area. It's supposed to last 75 days. I did get an email from Jason today. They've already dug out one little area of this section 1 that's still pumping. It appears, according to my notes this afternoon about 5 o'clock, they've had to dig more out and still pumping in more, so we're probably going to see a change order calling for some more sand and some other things to help shore that up before they put asphalt on it. I'm sure Nancy can speak more towards a road pumping, but basically that's going to mean failure. So that's coming. Again, that was this afternoon. Cruising the Coast, we did send the agreement off to Cruising the Coast with their fee. We did create a steering committee, and we're inviting residents, if they're interested, to please contact me so we can get to work on planning that event for October. 4th of July fireworks. I am asking for authorization to sign an agreement with J&M Displays to provide a 20-minute Class C commercial fireworks display on Saturday, July 2nd at 9 p.m. They'll shoot the fireworks from the festival grounds on Airport Drive, right along Paradise Bayou. We did get our DMR permit approval today or yesterday for that as well. Right now, just kind of, again, planning for kind of some food trucks, some music. I've got to get together with Laura. I was talking to the mayor about it a little bit, but trying to keep this a simple event so it's not really taxing on staff in particular, but something that residents can come out and enjoy in the evening, trying to do something from 6 to 9 before the fireworks go off. Solid waste fees. The Hancock County Solid Waste Authority recently bid the contract for garbage collection services throughout the county. This does include Diamondhead, Bay St. Louis, Waveland, and the county. The contract with Waste Management is expiring April 30th. The collection route in Diamondhead is not changing. However, garbage will be required to be placed inside the cans and not outside the cans. That is a change. The reason for it is a fully automated truck, and there will not be what's called a hopper on the back of the truck. Most of the collection companies are moving away from having hoppers. During COVID, they found out that with sickness and quarantine and other things, that hoppers weren't showing up for work. And so garbage started piling up on the side of some communities. Thankfully, Waste Management did not have that issue in Diamondhead. But so most of the companies are moving to a fully manual truck that's automated and no hoppers. The cost of the hoppers is going up dramatically for those employees as well as the insurance. When we met with the companies, they told us, all of them repeated, this is the 5th most dangerous job in the country. In addition, the new contract with Coastal Environmental will provide twice a month grapple service to our residents, which is new. So no more cutting your branches into 4-foot sections and having to bundle them. You can just throw the pile out in your front yard in the right-of-way area, and they will come get it with the big truck. The city will be designed into kind of carved up into 4 zones where they collect zones kind of 1 and 2 in weeks 1 and 3 and zones 3 and 4 in weeks 2 and 4. So you have an idea of what that rotation schedule will be. So that'll be set. There is a motion on the agenda tonight to go ahead and increase the rate that we charge, the fee we charge for solid waste to our residents to $15.50 based on the new price of the contract, and that would be effective July 1. As you know, this is a fee-for-service, I'm sorry, June 1, correction. It is a fee-for-service, so it is passed through, basically. Whatever the Solid Waste Authority charges, we kind of have to pass it back to the residents. Makiki Drainage, as I noted at the last meeting, the city received the permit for Makiki. So we are asking for authorization to be able to bid that project and get that work started quickly. Police firearms, the city purchased new 9mm pistols for our police officers. The old .45 pistol is no longer needed. We'd like to surplus the guns, and then sell them for $200 each by Mississippi Code 172525 to a local federal firearms licensed dealer. Basically, we have no more use for them. The reason for that change was to go strictly to one bullet that can work all the guns, because ammo was an issue over the last couple of years, as everybody who's has firearms understands. If you went to academy, you couldn't find bullets. Surplus equipment for public works. As part of our FY22 budget, I'm asking for authorization to surplus 3 pieces of equipment. That is the large dump truck that requires the CDL license, the large excavator that basically only stays in the public works barn, and the 30-foot triple axle trailer that was used to transport that large excavator. That would be done through an advertised bid for sale. And again, that was part of our budget. This equipment is being replaced with a smaller dump truck that does not require a CDL, and then a smaller backhoe that can be more agile and get behind some of the houses and the ditches that we service. Also on the agenda is the purchase of a backhoe. So we're getting asking for authorization to purchase that backhoe from Lyle Machinery using the state contract pricing, plus a 6-year maintenance agreement. And again, that was part of our FY22 budget. Finally, the senior fair, as part of our FY22 budget, we did allocate funds for a senior fair. SMPDD has offered to provide $2,000 for sponsorship for this event, which they've done before with us. We did this event a couple of years back, and it was a huge success with our seniors. The date has been scheduled for May 20th, and I'd like to just kind of defer to Mayor DePrio to kind of provide some additional information regarding the seniors.
So we have a steering committee, a senior center steering committee that meets here Wednesdays at noon. Any resident in Diamondhead that wants to join the steering committee, just show up Wednesday at noon and you can help out. The philosophy and the direction that we're heading in is modeled after Village to Village, which is a concept where it's not necessarily a structure, but it's a community. It's a community group of assets that help seniors age at home, and that is the mission, to allow residents and seniors to age at home. So we're going to be unleashing the Village to Village concept on how we're going to bring together all the resources in our city, in our county, and along the Mississippi Gulf Coast collectively in one group so that our seniors can have access to them at one-stop shop. Our senior day is going to be right here in the City Council chambers where we can turn the air conditioning down because it is May 20th. We hope to have 30 vendors. There also will be medical screen testing done that day. And we will also be serving a continental breakfast. So if it's 55 and older, I'm proud to be a senior. You know, we've earned our titles getting here. So 55 and older, Senior Day, May 20th, right here in the council chambers. It's going to be a fun event. It's going to be a wealth of resource of information with vendors as well as medical screening. And that's all I have. And we're also in August doing a kickoff on the Village to Village. That's all I have. Anything for the city manager?
Mike, when we're talking about putting limbs on this, on Hilo Way, there's a median. Do they want to put it in that median, or does it need to be on our property? Or?
We'd keep putting it on your property compared to in the median.
Okay.
Same thing for Diamondhead Drive Loop as well. We would want to avoid that.
It needs to be out in front of your home because they're keeping up with that as well as where they go. And just for one clarification, you know, I've seen this on Facebook a few times. When Hancock County Solid Waste put the bid advertisement out, it was for this type service. So no longer, no matter who got the contract, it was part of it where everything was going to have to be inside the can and it was going to be picked up by a truck. So no matter who got the contract, that's how it was going to be. And also the grapple trucks service was going to be for the residents as well for the entire county. So both those options were in the bids, and that's why it moved to that.
And
And April,
and further comment, just from the communication from these companies, the cost to have the man on the back of the truck is more expensive. So the cost would have been greater to have the hoppers.
it would
So
have
it's more
been.
efficient. 10 years ago, when the other contract was issued, it was just the opposite. Having the automated truck was cheaper. I'm sorry, more expensive. Now it's just the opposite.
And technology changes. April 30th, the ward meeting here at City Hall in the activity room at 9 o'clock. Coastal Environmental will be here. They'll be bringing one of the trucks, one of the dumpsters. We'll see how it works, and they're going to answer every question specific to how can I get my new can? What do I do about questions about my service? Where do I go? Every question you have can be answered that day if you just show up for 1 hour, and we'll have the coffee made.
And speaking of having all your questions answered, is there a way you could put on our digital sign out front about the grapple hook service coming twice a month so that everybody won't be just in the dark, as that they can have this done twice a month?
But not a lot of people, I don't know what amount of people pass by here, but on my regular day, I don't pass by this way.
And that's why we need 3 of those signs. One at the front, one at the back, and one here.
Up there by the guard shack.
I would comment, one of the company that got the low bid is Coastal. The technology on their trucks was extremely impressive. So when they pass on Monday in front of Ward 1 houses, if there's debris or anything bulky in your property, they're going to basically ping your house with a computer. Ping. And so when the grapple truck goes out for your zone, they know they need to target that house. So it was kind of cool, I thought, compared to just driving every street looking for trash. So they can be very efficient, and that's how they're going to be able to hit twice a month.
Okay, so the next time or the last time Waste Management picks up, they will empty and take the can with them then? Is that how that's gonna work?
So when on the last week of the month, when Waste Management is making their run on Monday through Friday, the garbage truck will pass, and they'll leave the can
Leave
on
the
the side of the
can there.
road. There will be another truck trailer coming behind it,
Right.
different group,
Picking up.
those cans, because Waste Management owns them. They're actually going to be storing them or temporarily at the end of NOMA as a staging area as they pick them up and pull them, and then they'll be taking them from there back to Waste Management land, wherever that goes. Okay.
So that's the last week of the month. If your garbage is picked up, leave your can outside. The last time, like, the end of the month is,
It's like the 25th to 29th, something like that.
yeah, the week of the 25th through,
May.
yes. Next week's the week.
So
Do not
the
bring
cans
the
that you
can back
have,
in.
if you notice on the front of the can, there was a barcode.
Yeah,
So
there
when the
is.
truck comes to grab your can, the truck is reading your barcode. And they will be able to have a report driven if they've missed your house before the guy leaves town and goes back to drop it. The reports are going to home office as well as the driver to say, hey, they didn't pick up Chuck's garbage. We don't have that house wasn't serviced. So he's going to
You didn't have it straight
reroute.
enough.
What's that?
You didn't have it straight enough.
Or you didn't put it on the street or whatever, but I just thought the technology is impressive. And they got, I think, 8 cameras on the truck so they can tell what they're doing.
I hope people show up to see, because you need to face your garbage can the correct way as well. I thought we were going to do the drainage basin A. Ben, this is for you. So I had brought my list of stuff, and I wanted to mention, I'm just going to, you and I visited a few sites. We have like a lot more to visit. But Iona Court, Diamondhead Drive North, 2 places, Aiki Drive, 2 places, Ahi Court, Amoka Drive, Kaliki Drive, Bayou Drive, Bayou Cola, and the K Street that we had issues on with the ditch. We need to look at that one. Crooked Stick, 12 rear lot lines, and Calamacone Court is another one. But you and I can go over these. But what I did want to mention on the area drainage basin A, we did get the funding from Senator Moran, $1.6 million, and that's for the Alamona drainage area. Everything up by Coon Branch is in that. The ARPA funds are 1-to-1 match. MDEQ is going to be released in July 1st. How we need to submit for the 1-to-1. Drainage Basin A is where we have the most issues, so we need to be ready with something so that they know our cost is X. And I know that's putting a lot on Covington, but we need to be ready July 1st so that we can move. When MDEQ releases what we need to do to get those ARPA funds. There's our goal, our mission.
I like it.
Go, Ben. You got this. Okay. Anything else for the city manager?
Thing. Only because I do like the direction we're going with the drainage and all, but I think we have short-term memories of what's already been done since August till now. Is there a way we can have a quarterly report of all the drainage projects that have been completed and the next quarter's like what we're looking at? So that every quarter the whole citizenry can know, hey, we've already completed these, now we're moving on to these.
Yeah, I mean, that spreadsheet you see on the wall, I just keep updating that. And, you know, as Anahola, I think was the last one, I moved it up. Now it's in progress. So that report is available at any time.
We had,
Happy to give it.
I like line item.
we had Hilo Street, now we're working on Hilo Way. The list is big.
I
That's
think maybe we can
okay.
get a water and sewer in here to give us an update on the Hilo Way, water and stuff they have going on over
Happy
there.
to ask them, yeah.
Okay. See how much longer they have and what kind of progress they've made.
Are
You're
you
just talking about
enjoying
the-
that
on-
project?
Just on Hilo, or you want more,
It's all around
mean-
Hilo Way and stuff
Yeah.
right now, yeah.
but that one project, that
Yeah.
whole water replacement? Okay.
All right, moving right along. Is there any public comments on an agenda item? Okay. Minutes. Could I get a motion to approve the April 5th, 2022 regularly scheduled meeting minutes?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
2022-146, motion to adopt resolution 2022-0334, thereby approving a text amendment to ordinance 2013-040.3, solid waste establishment of collection fees, thereby increasing the solid waste fee for residents to $15.50 per month or $186 per year effective June 1st, 2022. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? All in favor?
Roll
Aye.
call. It's a roll call.
Roll call,
call.
ordinance.
Finley,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Marr,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. 2022-136, motion to adopt resolution 2022-032, thereby accepting and acquiring by donation from Jonathan Randall Hammond, Lot 69, Block 5, amended plats of Units 2 and 3 for drainage and or green space. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Marr. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Marr,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Consent agenda items 4 through 15B. So A and B are letters that we added in favor of supporting Coast Electric, Coast Connect, and letters supporting the Hancock County Port and Harbor Commission for federal funding. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Could I get a motion to approve docket of claims DKT 159475, DKT 159523 in the amount of $103,189.21?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Could I get a motion to approve payroll payables DKT 159462, 1594 through 159474 in the amount of $50,801.37. PR claim 000116 in the amount of $30,517.48. PR claim 200117 in the amount of $2,683.55. PR claim 00118 in the amount of $30,320.07, and PR claim 000119 in the amount of $30,846.66. Motion?
I move.
Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. All in favor?
Aye.
Could I get a motion to approve department reports A through B?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there any public comments on a non-agenda item? Is there any need for executive session?
There is no need for executive session. I would like to just remind the council that May 3rd is the deadline. So our next meeting is the deadline if you all want to consider opting out of the Medical Cannabis Act. I just
At our
wanna
next meeting?
Just want to throw that out. So, I'm sorry. It is the exact 90th day, so I hate doing things on the last possible day, but if you're going to consider it, that would be the day, that would be the last day, unless you would want to do it sooner, but that would be the day.
You can supply us with as much information as we need on that day?
Sure, and recall the update that I gave you all when the act first was passed. I can go over that. I can talk to each of you between now and May 3rd. Just recall, if you do not opt out, you're in, and there's no opting out after the fact. So you have 90 days from the day that it was passed to opt out. That expires May 3rd. After that day, if you do decide to opt out, you can get back in. So one of the things that it looks like some cities and some counties are doing in the state is kind of opting out and looking to see how this works. And, kind of let some of the other cities and counties become guinea pigs and see if it works. But it's entirely up to y'all. If you want to opt in, you do not have to take any further action. But if you do want to consider opting out, there's a draft resolution that MML has provided. We have it. It can be put on the agenda for you guys to discuss and debate at the May 5th meeting, if not sooner.
Can you give us an update, or do you know, Derek,
I'm sorry.
can you give me an update? I know just a few cities have opted out,
Mm-hmm.
but do you expect any more to be opting out, or you think at this time now it's kind of like a done deal?
That's a
for
good
everybody?
question.
This is a big deal.
It's a big
a big
deal.
deal.
And I think it was like Brandon and
It's Brandon, Ridgeland,
Ridgeland,
Gluckstadt, the newest
Madison.
city, and
and
Pass
on the coast, yeah, the
Christian.
Pass Christian. I think Greene
Brandon,
County.
Madison, Gluckstadt, Pass Christian, Flora. There's 8, and they're
Yeah,
pretty much
and-
in the central part of.
Yeah.
I did learn something yesterday about this at the MML executive meeting, was that, it's the law was written where it says they can be in a commercial area, but it didn't specify specifically what part, and the cities are allowed to specify the commercial area. So one way we could look at that would be making a commercial area C4, or a number that we haven't used, and be specific, like we have our TIF areas are located in a specific area. We could have it designated in a specific area.
One of the things Mike and I talked about today as we look at our our updating of our zoning that's coming up as part of our updating of our comprehensive plan. The new we're not going to just have a C1, C2, R1, R2. We're really going to get it, kind of into the weeds with some of our districting, the downtown district and some of these other. We can, as a city, and there's an AG opinion that came out, and I thank Mike for pointing it out to me, just April 15th, where they kind of confirmed that the cities are going to have quite a bit of discretion in deciding which districts to allow this in. The only thing that you got to be careful of is you can't legislate it out of existence. So in other words, if you guys decide to opt in, it can be in the commercial district, and you guys can decide which zones within the commercial district, when we do establish those zones, that you would like it to be in.
Can we pass a resolution like at the next meeting and say that until the zoning is complete and we know that we want it in a specific zone?
What you could do is this: you could opt out at the next meeting, and you can opt back in at any time, and it only takes either a vote of this council. So this council decides for example, after, as the mayor suggests, after we do this rezoning, that we would like to allow it in certain zones of the commercial district, you guys can say at that time, we want to opt back in. You guys vote, and if we have the number of votes, it would be done. The other way it could get put back out there is if the residents, a certain number of residents requested an election. It could be done that way too, but.
And they're already doing that in
Yeah.
some of the 8 cities.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put that on our residents.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't.
So it could be, like I
We
said,
ca-
just, if you opt out, it does not have to be a forever opt-out. It could just simply be to wait until we have that new zoning. Or what you can do is just, you can always stay in and then just amend when we do come up with that new zoning, just say, it's going to be allowed here, it's not going to be allowed there. So there's several ways that you all can go.
And I see that as, when I heard that yesterday, I didn't know that was an issue, and I thought, well, this makes it where you can, we know specifically where it will be.
And Hancock County had a little updating on how it will work. And one of the things I remember is that cities would have to determine what type of fee, in addition to the state fee, to allow this to be in their city. And I think we'd have to discuss that as a city council too, is what type of fee. And it would be, they said, don't go crazy, but they were talking, it sounded like a substantial fee, not just like a $20 privilege fee.
Right. Well, you guys certainly can regulate, and like I said, you just can't regulate it so that it makes it prohibited. You can't do anything that's in direct contradiction to the state law, which is allowing this, but you can regulate it. And we've talked about some of those regulations, that they can't be within a certain distance of a school or a church, that they can't be within a certain distance of each other, so that you don't have these just on top of each other
Right, I
all
think it was
throughout the city.
1,000 feet,
It's 1,000
which makes
feet.
it very difficult to have 2 in our commercial area.
Especially in our commercial district, it's already
It
going to
does.
be, kind of difficult, so.
I would personally like to see other cities try it, see what works, doesn't work, okay. And some of the cities that we are trying to mirror, some of the bigger cities are not, or they're opting out, they're gonna, see how it works for them. Maybe they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But I'd be one of those guys, let's see how they work with it, see what does and doesn't work, and kind of just go from there.
We can always, like I said, we can always opt back in. If you miss this May 3rd deadline, it's here to stay. But that does not prohibit us as a city from regulating it, charging permit fees, distance requirements, zoning requirements, things like that. That'll always be on the table for the city, and we can tinker with that as we go.
I would like to see a lot of the residents maybe kind of let us know how they're feeling and, see what they want. Of course, we're here to serve them, but,
We are, so our vote needs to reflect their wishes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I would remind the council of a couple of things. When the state had this on a vote statewide, I think it was 70-30 in favor.
Pretty outstanding.
And I think it was that way
On the
in
opposite
Diamondhead.
side, I think it's a very conservative approach to do what kind of Chuck's approach there is to say, opt out with let's see what happens in these other cities, gives us time to do zoning if we want to tweak any zoning. If there's any problems, let the other cities work it out and then put our toe in the water at a later date. But I would, again, remind you, the population statewide was a pretty convincing number. If you ask law enforcement, they probably say, hey, it's a gateway drug. But statewide, the population kind of said this. I think that's why the state legislature took action. So, but I think it's a conservative approach to say,
and you're right, it was the
pause.
gateway, just kind of like where some people start, and then that's not enough, and they want to go to something stronger and stronger. The people on meth didn't start out with meth, they started out with what? Yeah, I don't know.
But I would just ask for the council to give direction to the administration, either through an RCA or a voice of you guys to say, do y'all want this on our next agenda of any type language or not? Because right now, I mean, the direction I've gotten, and I think from parent agendas, is this is not on the agenda until y'all tell us to put
It
it
will
on the
be.
agenda.
It will be.
Yeah, and I think you all got to know, even if you opt out, it doesn't stop the allowability, the legality of people having it within the city. It's just they can't purchase it here, but they can
And
go
They'll go
next
somewhere
door
else.
Bay
If they
St.
get it from
Louis or
somebody
something.
right now, they'll continue to get it from somebody right
Yeah.
now.
And this is what the Hancock County said, that if you don't think people who want marijuana are getting it now, you're living in a dream world. Because getting it from the streets is gonna be so much cheaper than getting medically controlled marijuana with all the restrictions and the permit fees, that they said, what you get from the medical marijuana is gonna be so graded that it's gonna be 2 to 3 times the street value. So that to say that this would lead to an influx of more people using other things as a gateway, they'd already be doing it from the street marijuana versus going through the medical marijuana.
Well, who knows if
And
they're
we
gonna be
could-
cheaper than their,
We
than
could
their
talk
guy.
about this all day long.
We
I
got 2
mean,
weeks to make up your mind.
Yes, a lot to talk about. It is a lot to talk about. And I know through regulations, because I've been hearing it and trying to listen to whoever, it can be regulated, and I don't want, the worst thing I want is to make the residents have to do a petition like they're doing in some of the other 8 cities, because if they want it, they're gonna do a petition, then it's back on. How many signatures was required? Yeah, it wasn't. It's not a lot. Okay, well, before we adjourn, Mr. Stein, please don't forget about Miss Sharon up here in the front before you leave. Thanks. Okay. Any other business before the council? Could I get a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Moore. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Y'all have a blessed night. Thanks for coming.
Mayor, it is 1,500. 1,500 signatures. It's not a lot. Or 20%, which would be almost 2,000 for us, so 1,500. There you are. There you are.
There you go.